This is the Barbados Today afternoon news for Thursday, April 12. Thank you for joining us. I am Mara Williams. It is now official. The Democratic Labour Party's General Secretary, George Pilgrim, will be the party's candidate for St. John in this year's general election. This after Mara Thompson formally stepped down last evening at a General Council meeting of the DLP. Thompson succeeded her late husband, the former Prime Minister David Thompson, as MP for that constituency following his death in 2010. Mara Thompson has now endorsed Pilgrim to contest the election, saying that he has been working on behalf of the constituency for many years. Meanwhile, political analyst Peter Wickham is also supporting the choice of Pilgrim as the DLP candidate.
Yes, George is closer to the party and really has been closer to the Prime Minister. If you think about it, George was part of the David Thompson team, and he would have worked with Mara. I think suffice to say that George is a de facto representative up there for a while, and people in St. John know that. So it's not surprising. I would say that George has been the least controversial choice in terms of what was on the table. I know McLean's his gravitas in the area, and it goes back a long time. But the fact is that McLean had greater relevance to St. John in 1987, and I don't know that that's still the case. I think it's I think it's as good a choice as any, but I mean, let me just say that St. John, the Democratic Labour Party, has some problems in St. John that they have to rectify. And I don't know that just fixing it, just putting George will necessarily fix it. I think that they have some other major issues in St. John that they have to rectify. They have issues nationally, that they have to deal with. So, as I said, St. John is also the way, but I still think that there's some major national issues that have to be addressed, such as the fact that, we're still waiting on this election. So, well done to George, and I think we now need to move on to the major issue, which is whether we're going to have the election, and, what is the reason that it's taking the DLP this long to call it.
In other news this afternoon, the Supreme Court remains closed for business until tomorrow as officials seek to resolve environmental problems there. Yesterday, workers walked off the job in protest. The workers' bargaining body, the National Union of Public Workers, will meet again tomorrow with the Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite, the Chief Justice Sir Marston Gibson, and the Supreme Court Registrar Barbara Cook-Aline and other officials to discuss the way forward. Barbados has been named as a major source of dirty money and drug trafficking in a United States narcotics report. The latest International Narcotics Control Strategy report says proceeds from illegal activities abroad are being laundered through Barbados. The March 2018 document is based on a review done last year. The 215-page document disclosed that narcotics trafficking, money laundering, and firearms are major sources of illicit funds in Bridgetown. It says that in addition to the use of financial institutions, money is laundered through businesses and through the purchase of real estate, vehicles, vessels, and jewelry. The issue of leadership will take the spotlight when Barbados hosts the 4th LeaderCast Leadership Summit. Several organizations from the public and private sectors will participate in the event. Managing Director of the Caribbean Institute for Leadership and Coaching, Ian Blanchard, told the launch yesterday that leadership should not only be seen in the political contest.
And as we look at the Caribbean region, we begin to recognize that we tend to see leadership in terms of political leadership. And every time we think of leaders, our minds immediately go to political leaders. And what we are attempting to do at the Caribbean Institute of Leadership and Coaching is to broaden the context of leadership, that people begin to understand that every single one of us, whether it be our children, our nieces, our nephews, our families, we have a responsibility to lead. We have a responsibility to influence. So we are committed to improving and increasing the awareness of leadership. And more importantly, we want to ensure, but it's not just leadership theory, but leadership in practice.
Meanwhile, Scotiabank representative Roger Best pointed to how his organization is encouraging management and staff to be leaders in the business.
We have more than 88,000 employees serving 24 million customers across North America, Latin America, the Caribbean, and Central America, and the Asian Pacific. With such a global operation and such mammoth responsibility, we too ensure that our team is equipped to lead. The theme of this year's LeaderCast event is Lead Yourself. And that resonates so much with me because I believe leaders must be accountable and leaders must see themselves and understand who they are first before they can lead anyone. And this aligns too with our internal strategy, which recognizes that everyone has the potential for leadership and a winning mindset. These are capabilities which redound to the benefit of our customers. Overall for us, leadership means leading internally and developing our talent and conducting our business with the highest level of integrity. Leading in our communities and supporting events and programs that add a positive impact. It also means leading on our customers' behalf in bringing innovative solutions that help them manage their finances.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. The opposition St. Lucia Labour Party says it is concerned over reports from the United States on the potential for political influence in the island's citizenship by investment program. We get the details in this report from HTS News in Castries.
St. Lucia CIP has been scrutinized by the U.S. Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs.
These are extraordinary statements. In my years, I cannot recall such statements being made about any one country. There have been individual cases where the U.S. has raised issues about particular persons who have been granted CIP status, I mean both the U.S. and Canada, but I have not seen such a sweeping statement, and this coming in the wake, as you rightly pointed out, of the EU statements expressing concern and caution. I think we are going to go through an exceedingly difficult period.
The U.S. has concerns over what it calls a perceived lack of autonomy between the CIP unit and political directorate.
The Prime Minister should take note that the St. Lucia Labour Party will vigorously resist any attempt by the government to change the legislation to further undermine the integrity of the CIP program and indeed the safety and security of the people of St. Lucia.
The chief opposition CIP frontman has shot down his successor's managerial approach to the CIP unit. Dr. Hilaire spoke at an April 10th St. Lucia Labour Party press conference.
Because, I mean, when a U.S. report would actually say that our program is not free of political interference, suggesting that there is political interference in deciding who gets citizenships, that is extremely dangerous. It means people can apply, and politicians are interfering in deciding who gets citizenships. If you look at the CIP legislation as proposed under Dr. Anthony, the CIP board is separate from the unit. You know, separate, so the board is doing a serious oversight, and then it goes up to the minister. The minister is not involved at all.
The State Department, in the 2018 money laundering report, is worried about what it termed the passports for cash business and the potential, quote, exposure to local corruption and the visa-free travel and ability to open bank accounts, end quote, by approved CIP applicants.
On the international scene, French President Emmanuel Macron says he has proof that the Syrian government attacked the town of Douma with chemical weapons last weekend. And he says he will decide in due course whether to respond with airstrikes. Western states are thought to be preparing for missile strikes in response to the alleged attacks. In Russia, Syria's main military ally, a spokesman for the Kremlin urged against any steps which could lead to an escalation of tensions. The U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday said that missiles were coming, but he has now tweeted that he never said when. We get more in this Reuters report.
U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday that a possible military strike on Syria could be very soon or not so soon at all. He tweeted, "Never said when an attack on Syria would take place." The message comes 24 hours after he warned Moscow and Damascus that American missiles aimed at Syria will be coming, and 3 days after he promised a robust response to reports of a chemical weapons attack that killed at least 60 Syrians.
It will be met, and it will be met forcefully.
But so far, his administration has taken no direct military action against Syrian government forces suspected of carrying out the poison gas attack in the city of Douma over the weekend. On Wednesday, the U.S. Secretary of Defense said he had not yet seen enough evidence to blame Syrian President Bashar al-Assad for the deaths in Douma.
We're still assessing the intelligence ourselves and our allies. We're still working on this.
Is the U.S. military ready right now to conduct a retaliatory strike if ordered?
We stand ready to provide military options if they're appropriate, as the President determined.
A chemical weapon attack on Syrian civilians last year was met with rapid U.S. missile strikes on Syrian government jets and airfields. This time, U.S. officials told Reuters on Wednesday that Syria's military has repositioned some of its aircraft inside hangars and next to Russian military hardware that Washington might be more reluctant to hit. Russia is the Syrian government's top military and political supporter. Earlier this week, a Russian ambassador said any U.S. missiles aimed at Syria would be shot down. A U.S. strike on Syrian government forces risks escalating into a conflict between America and Russia. Donald Trump has said repeatedly he wants a better relationship with Russia's president, Vladimir Putin.
And that's news this afternoon. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Mara Williams. Good afternoon.